Howdy guys, it's been a minute. Welcome back to Alex Crossing. I've been gone for a bit. That's because I've been dealing with a bunch of real-life stuff that I discussed during the last stream. Things such as job interviews, having to be awake in times that I normally wouldn't be awake at, and other such shenanigans. But hey, I'm back. It's time for more Alex Crossing. I did miss a Saturday, so we're not going to do letter time quite this so we're going to hold off on letter time until next week, which is fine. The topic, whatever topic I said it was, is still the same. Anyways, welcome. This is Alex Crossing, my daily Animal Crossing stream, in which I stream Animal Crossing every day until I finish it. Now, that's not been quite the case lately, however, I will stream it until it's done, so if I miss a day, don't worry, it will be streamed at a later date. Let's read our letters. We have letters from the museum. We're just going to go ahead and check and see if these are fossils. We have Skull of an Apatosaurus. I know... You know, here's what I should do. I'm going to hold on to these until I can go to the museum and see for myself. So, let's go ahead and put these gifts here. But yeah, it's been a minute since I've been on. Not a lot's happened, to be honest. I got back into Final Fantasy XIV. I've been rewatching The Mandalorian with my girlfriend, and it's been a great time. It's super fun, and I'm happy I did it. I started a few new games. I finally finished Yakuza, which I have been playing, to Alex Blank from Bea. Aw, what a thoughtful letter. Plesiosaur neck, that's cool. But, yeah, Skull of an Apatosaurus. I don't think any of these fossils are new. But yeah, I got into a new game called, I started streaming a new game called Pathfinder Kingmaker. That game's really fun. I've been playing D&D. My Cyberpunk campaign is finally getting off to a start, which is surprising, you know, it's taken so long. The Amazing Barrel, wow. Never thought about that. Alright, so we can go ahead and get rid of all these letters. But yeah, today's gonna be a pretty basic Animal Crossing stream. We're not doing anything special. We are just going to try and make some money in order to pay off the house. And at some point, I might go ahead and check out the wiki to try and find out what fish appear in the winter and see about planning a future Animal Crossing fishing stream where I catch them all, you know? Take a torso. We'll open all these. Open. Open. Skull. Dinosaur track. Oh, the ranch hutch. Huh. I wonder what that is. Open. Physio neck. Let's see what the ranch hutch is. I think this might be a piece of furniture that Vea got while I was watching, and I might have requested her send it to me for my house drop. Yes, it is. Okay, excellent. I was very happy about this. Yep, another piece of brown furniture to match the decor. And I guess that's kind of the theme of my house, with color brown. Now to put the knight at the tip of my bedstand to have him protect me from the bad dreams. See? That's why he's there. So when I sleep and I have any bad dreams, he can stab them with his spear, as all good knights do. He's the good knight. Alright, let's check the notice board. What do we got? Treasure hunt in Acre A4. Wishing well at 7 AM on February 2nd for news. Alright, not there yet. Alright, so A4. Let's see what treasure we have buried at A4. It's near the dump, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. Oh, Bea's got some mail. Hop on later and check that. Dun 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 dun. Alright, empty. And we got a weed. We're gonna have some weeds. It's been a while since I played. Alright, what else do we have? Of course we have as always, we have the dump. Nice! Alright, there's the money rock for the day. Lucky. Real lucky. Dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Go and swap this for something for now. We'll go ahead and drop our raffle tickets. Pick them up here in a second, because I just gotta add all these to my inventory. But yeah, I finished up Yakuza. That was a really fun game, and it taught me some valuable lessons about streaming certain games. and how even though when I'm at home playing by myself, I like to do everything, that can't be done on stream, and I need to prioritize what content I want to show the viewer going to be streaming a game. Which is kind of a no-brainer, you know? Like, Travis and Angela knew this, but I was just kind of stubborn, and I was just like, no, it's fine. I can get by just by, you know, streaming all the stuff I want to stream. That's a nice shirt. I'm going to wear it. I'm number 23. Yay! And then there's my paper for the day. Which I'll just quickly write some letters to the museum. You do get into these daily grinds every day with Animal Crossing. Oh, I also looked into Animal Crossing, not Amiibo Festival, but the other one, Happy Home Designer. Yeah, that's the one. And whether or not that would be viable to do on stream, and I think it might. However, if it's not tied to the day, which I don't know if it is yet, if it's not tied to the day like Animal Crossing normally is, I think I might just stream that one on Twitch. Oh, hey, we got a new bridge here next to Pate's house. That's gonna make life a lot easier. I guess Vea talked to Tortimer and had him install the bridge there. That's good to know. But yeah, if I ever do Home Designer, I might do it on Twitch because it's more of that kind of game. So if you're a fan of this series and you want to catch Happy Home Designer, make sure to follow me on Twitch so you can catch it there. Good morning, men. They do. There was this really nice period of time in my life where I would walk to the gas station every day to grab breakfast and an energy drink, and then I'd walk home and like work on my schoolwork. And it was a really nice winter. It was really, really cold, but it was always fun walking to the gas station. I'll be at home. That's no good. Uh-oh. Oof. Alright, I will, I promise, I'm sorry. But yeah, I remember like it being super duper cold when I did it, so I had to like cover my face up while I walked. I'm just like, oh man, I feel like I'm a Viking. Oh hey, it's the stock market lady. Let's talk to her. Hey there, Joan. Yep. I know already. Yes, I will. I will buy... Ooh, okay. I'll buy 50. Alright, there you go. 5,000 bells. Give me 50 turnips. And so now I have to log on every day, and those were about like 100 and what? Let's see how much they... Let's check the price real quick. Hold on, let's see it real quick. To be sure. 101, alright. So I'll keep that in mind, 101 bells. And if Nook is buying for over that much, I will sell. Make a pretty penny off of it. Yes, so... What was I going to say? I'm sorry, I always lose my train of thought. Anybody new? Oh, hey Tutu. Morning. We do. But yeah, when I remember, like when I started walking to work every day, I started to or walking to the gas station every day, I had to start picking out music to match. And I remember that I, Coelacanth, yep. You know that? Of course. Yeah, well, I don't think you're gonna catch the Coelacanth before me, Tutu, I'm sorry. I don't think you guys even have the ability to fish in this game. But I remember I would listen to like the theme of Terra in the Fields of Ard-Skellig on the way to the gas station every day. Made me feel like I was a Viking hiking through the cold in the winter. Here to chat? Oh man, yeah, omelets are delicious. I'm happy for you, Chevre. I remember there was a year I tried to make omelets every day for like, and I ate nothing but for like a year, and I hated omelets by the time it was over. But I guess I shouldn't have made them every day. I certainly shouldn't have made them the same way every day. I did start to like top them with different things at the end, like I started to put like peppers and sriracha on them. But then it just got too spicy. That's right. If I don't like it, I'll just sell it to Vea. I was just thinking about like how interesting it is nowadays that we finally have games where you can actually play as a Viking and get that kind of like Nordic winter experience and how many there are. I remember, like, okay, look, I have no interest in the Assassin's Creed games, but when I tuned into my friend Emerald's stream, where she was playing Valhalla, and she was, like, hiking uphill through the snow in the winter, not gonna lie, I had a bit of that Viking excitement hit me, and it's like, oh man, I kind of want to play that, but who knows, I might play it later. I'm a lot more open-minded to those games than I used to be, as much as I wish they'd just... As much as I wish that they'd stop calling them Assassin's Creed and just start making original historical games every year, they're not going to, and it's a darn shame. What do we have going on here? Oh, nice! Alright, so we have... What are we missing? This is the Apado... So we need the Apato tail. Let's see if we have it. Apado skull, Plesio skull, track, neck, torso. Alright, nope. We have the full Plesiosaur. We have all these fossils. We need the Stego body, which I think I have here. Right here, yep. Stego torso. Move you here. There you go. That's the one that I do have. We need the T-Rex tail. Oh, no, we have it. T-Rex is complete. Pterodactyl is complete. Mammoth is complete. We need the Triceratops skull, which is actually the most important part of the Triceratops, if you ask me. Certainly the most iconic. Skull, skull, track, neck, torso, skull. Alright, yeah, so no Triceratops skull, sadly. Sorry, Sarah. I need to go back and rewatch Land Before Time sometime. What a great movie. I started watching a movie called Belle, and that's an anime movie I was actually really interested in, and I started watching it and I immediately had some problems with it. Basically what it's about a shy girl who finds this MMO, or this virtual world, that she can be herself in and begin to express herself as and start singing, and she gets super popular and she becomes like an idol overnight. Kind of sounds like a Disney Channel original movie, doesn't it? Just thinking about that while I was watching it. But, yeah, I started watching that movie and immediately, like, I had problems with it because, well, let's just say, like, me and my friends are very familiar with that kind of world. We're very familiar with the virtual world. We're very familiar with the virtual online space, the metaverse type idea, because we spent a lot of time in VR chat. And as well as playing other MMOs where people actually interact with each other. Sorry, I gotta take a sip of my coffee. And so, the entire time I'm watching the movie, in my head I'm making corrections. I'm going, that's not how it works. That's not how that would work. That doesn't make any sense. That's evil and awful. My three biggest contentions were, one, everything was pretty. In an online world, where people are able to choose what they look like. Well, people aren't able to choose what they look like. That's a problem too, is I don't think a lot of people would want to play that if they couldn't choose what they look like. Even if you made something entirely based off of their personality or their biometrics, like the movie says, people wouldn't like what they looked like and probably wouldn't play. Let's see what we can get here. They need to have some way of customizing themselves. The second thing is that the entire place isn't just blanketed head to toe with ads. Like, unless this was run by a very generous billionaire, the real life version of this virtual world would be blanketed head to toe in advertisements. If not, then it would be player run, and it would still be blanketed. And then it would just have a really inconsistent clashing art style, unless it's open source. If it's open source, that's a bit different. But even then, if it's one shared world, it would have a horrible clashing art style. And it is interesting because it's kind of like a Nerf Gear scenario. However, you connect... So basically, you wear these things on your ears, they read your brain waves, and they connect your brain directly to it, so you feel like you're living in that world. Which honestly isn't that crazy to think about. We have things like that, just not to that level of advancement. What is crazy, however, is the idea... Daryl. It's the idea that you do this through your phone wirelessly. And that's the part I had contention with, where it's the idea that you're like, Wait a minute, you're telling me there's no latency issues at all when you're doing this wirelessly through your phone? First off, through your phone, what the heck? And the character's doing it on a dinky laptop. So, like, either this is all on the side of a central server, which is being run by the company that runs the virtual world, or it's all on the user's end, meaning unless the person has one heck of a PC setup, like a ridiculously powerful one, then you're going to... Pretty much, you're not going to have enough processing power to make a world like this. That's one of the things I can say about Serial Experiments Lain and Summer Wars, and something they really did. Something they did super duper well. Oh, that bridge looks amazing. Wow, it actually bends when you walk on it too. That's so cool. I'm gonna catch this fish. So that's one good thing I can say about Serial Experiments Lain and Summer Wars, even though I had issues with Summer Wars. Similar issues, actually. But what it got right is the sheer amount of, like, heat a PC would have to put off to process this level of thing, and how all the computers were these bulky desktop computers, because they would have to be, otherwise they wouldn't have the processing power necessary. Lain invented new technology specifically for its world to explain how you can have this level of processing power in your world. And this isn't even getting into the story, this is all settings issues. The next issue I had was the main thrust of the movie, which seems to be about a troll, like a player who, like, messes with other players and just attacks people randomly in the world of you. However, it's really obvious, like, right off the bat who it is, and if it's not obvious, then it's a red herring. I didn't finish the movie because really I just got halfway through it, and I didn't really lose interest, but I just felt as though I was not having a good time watching it, and so I'd like to come back at a later date. How do I put it? Social launch needs some people and help some people in need. We appreciate your help. Might even be rewarded with a gift. Alright, cool. But, people really want me to help people in need today, so I think that's what I might do. But yeah, the main thrust of the movie is about a troll, like a bad player, and finding out who that player is. At least that's the part I was on. And so the part that kind of broke me was when they started going, not really door to door, but they started, like, connecting in Zoom meetings with a ton of people, trying to convince them to out who this person is. And people are showing their faces, they're showing pictures of their children, they're just super social and open about it. Not to mention they're using Zoom. And the entire time I'm just cringing out of my chair like, ugh! Because it's like, the people nowadays that engage in those kind of virtual worlds, they don't use Zoom, they don't use Facebook, they're not like boomers who are sending pictures of their kids, they're people who know better, you know? At least that's the vibe I get from talking to people on VRChat, which is the closest real-world comparison besides, like, Second Life. And I really don't think people on Second Life are doing that, just saying. Oh, Groundhog Day's coming up. Me too. My bones need to thaw out. Yeah, I'm excited. But yeah, it's like people are on Zoom meetings, and I'm just like, ew, use Discord. Oh my gosh, use Discord. It's so much better. What are you doing? I don't know if that's really a plot problem or a setting issue, but it just made me cringe. Also, the idea that because the idea of any computer program being DRM locked to your biosignature is awful, and I hate it. That is like a huge breach of privacy that makes me very uncomfortable. And it's not presented as dystopian in the least. That is a horrific dystopian idea. So why is it not presented as such? That's something that bothers me really, really bad. And also the main thrust of this movie being doxing a player. Like, the whole goal of our heroes in this story is to do something that is considered a crime. It's crazy, you know? It's just something I've been thinking about, like, a lot, and it's just like, man, I was really hoping that this would be like Lain, where the people working on it kind of had an understanding of the technology they were basing it upon, but they really don't, it seems, and it's kind of a bummer. Like, I had the same problem with Summer Wars, where it's just like, why even make it a computer program at that point? Why don't you just make it like a why don't you just make it like a fantasy world? Why does it have to be a computer program when you clearly don't know how these programs work? What's new? Oh, I know you didn't. It's been a couple days. Don't worry, Vea will be back on soon. It's just, it's a good movie. It seems to be a good movie so far, and I like the animation in the real world. Can anime movies stop using CG, like, completely, please? Like, it never looks good. I have not... It's very rare that I run into a 2D animated anime movie that suddenly engages in CG and it looks good. I can think of very few examples, and almost every time I just go, well, if you did that in 2D, it would look better. It's not necessary. It wasn't that way before, and it looked better before, and I really don't like the constant use of CG in anime. And in animation in general. Like, for example, me and Vea watched the first 3 episodes of Legends of Vox Machina last night, and I just gotta say, stop using CG. Just stop. Animate it. Just actually animate it. Put the work in. Or if you're going to use CG, make the whole thing CG so it's consistent. Otherwise, we have, like, hey there, Obi. How are you doing? I'm complaining about CG in anime, or in animation in general. The point is, I don't like constant use of CG unless the whole thing is CG. I'd rather it all be CG and all look good, versus, you know, the way it is now. That's what I got today. I got complaints. I got complaints about anime and the use of CG in anime. Because here's the question you should always ask yourself about CG when you see CG in anime, and the simple question is, would this look better if it was animated in 2D? CG is computer graphics, so pretty much, let's say, basically when you're watching, in this case, I'm talking about like when you're watching an anime and a giant monster shows up, and the giant monster has obviously been rendered on a computer. So it looks like your anime characters are fighting a video game monster. Like, I'm just thinking about my favorite example of like when the CG versus not CG is Berserk. Because in... Oh, what are you? I think I already caught a book drop before. I might run by the museum to check, to be sure. But... yeah, CG stands for computer graphics. Pretty much it's just when you use like a 3D, put a 3D model inside your anime, or inside your cartoon, or movie, or whatever, but specifically I'm talking about using it in cartoons and how it looks terrible. Like, oh my gosh, if the Cuphead cartoon has a big CG monster, like, that is the biggest thumb in the eye to the, like, oh my, ugh. It just needs to stop. Just stop using CG monsters in your cartoons. Just animate it. Just draw it. I know it's expensive. Take more time. I don't want artists to get mistreated. So literally, just if you have to release it later, release it later. The fact that Attack on Titan gets delayed for so long just to give us CG Titans is, ugh. I can't stand it. It drives me nuts. It does. It really does. Like, the Colossal Titan has lost, like, and that's the thing. They're also more threatening when they're animated. I don't know why that's the case. I just know that when I saw the Colossal Titan in seasons 1 and 2, I was way more intimidated by it than I was by the ones in season 3. Even the giant creepy quadruped one that climbed the wall and like would erase everyone's memories. Like, that thing was creepy by its very nature, but I didn't find it creepy at all because it was big, dumb, and CG looking. And I just wish that it'd stop and just draw it. And I don't care if it takes longer to come out, or people have to pay more to, not pay more to see it, but I don't care if it takes longer to come out. I just do it. Like, I guess the biggest comparison I have besides the Colossal Titan is Berserk, where you go back to Zod the Immortal in the 1997 Berserk anime, and just how intimidating he is and how scary he is, despite being a very traditional fantasy monster. He's just a minotaur. He's just a minotaur with wings. But he's so creepy, unsettling, and, like, scary when he shows up. Then you compare that to the Golden Age arc movies, where he is a big, dumb, purple CG monster, and it's just like, why? Why did you have to do this to Zod? His voice acting's better, at least. Like, that was my problem with Legends of Vox Machina. It's like, oh, the big blue dragon is like this scary... It's supposed to be this intimidating monster, and it's just tearing people apart and, like, goring them super hard. But I can't be intimidated by a big, dumb, purple blue dragon that's in CG. Because it looks like they're fighting a video game monster, and it's driving me nuts. I guess in Belle's case, it's because it's literally a video game world, but it still looks bad, and it would look better if it was completely hand-drawn. Of course, it would be impossible. Still. Oh man, if that Akira anime that's coming out is has CG in it, oh my lord. Like, that is a thumb in the eye, man. Alex is very gripey today. It just brings me out of it every time. The biggest thing is that I know it's different, and I know that it's CG, and that's always a problem. It's like in live-action movies, it's like, hey, if a character is up close to something, use a puppet. If a character's far away from something, use CG. That's kind of the general rule of thumb that most people follow nowadays, which is good, you know? It didn't used to be like that. Like, CG's gotten way better in films. Like, specifically like those Marvel movies, the way they use CG is fantastic. And to the point where you can go back and watch like Iron Man 1 and 2 and it still looks just as good, even though that movie's like 10 years old. Because they were smart about how they use CG. It's just a good use of special effects. Meanwhile, like Dune was a great movie, but like so much of it, CG came across as really bad because of how up close to the camera it was, and you could tell that it was fake. That's the big difference, is that you can tell it's fake. A CG background in anime is probably fine, but having the main subject of the scene being a 3D character model is just... I don't want to say it's lazy, because I don't know the process, and I can't just say that, but it doesn't feel as good as if it was actually animated. Like, imagine every single thing a CG model does in anime is done by a 2D character, is done in 2D, and it looks better. It just automatically looks better. It's kind of like when an old game gets remade with 3D models, and I'm just like, but you had sprites before, and sprites are really cool. Why did you mess this up by making it these 3D models that look worse than the sprites? Like, I am probably never going to get into King of Fighters. Like, I'm probably never going to get into King of Fighters, because I'm not really that much into fighting games to begin with, but like... I'm never going to get into King of Fighters because King of Fighters, to me, and all those SNK games, are their pixel art. That's one of the biggest selling points, and they just threw it in the garbage for the sake of convenience. It's a real shame, man. I really wish that people would stick to sprites. Like, sticking to practical effects or sprites goes a long way. Oh, you got a letter from Vea, Billy. Let's see it. I've already seen this, Billy. You've shown me this already. Yes, I know her. You can't remember who it is, Billy? You're mean. Billy, you're weird. Billy's a weirdo. He knows. Vea knows Billy. Billy knows Vea. Hey there. Good morning. Yeah. Let's talk. Yes, I know. Aw, thank you, Gabby. I'm not giving you 1,400 bells for wallpaper. Too rich for my blood, yes. Every single day, Gabby tries to hustle me, tries to rip me off, and I tell Gabby, no, I'm not paying $1,500 for I'm not paying 1,500 bells for wallpaper, you're crazy. And he's like, oh, I'll get you next time, though. And I'm like, no, you won't. I'm never going to pay you 1,500 bells for wallpaper. It's just not worth it. But I'm missing messages again, aren't I? Wow, YouTube, thank you. I guess I'll just keep OBS open. There we go. There we go. I'm trying to think of the anime CG that I'm, like, okay with. That Titan versus Titan fight scene in the most recent season of Attack on Titan, not counting the new season that's ongoing currently. It's the final season, part 1. Looked fine, I guess. I guess it's because they rendered enough frames and it was a Titan fighting a Titan. But again, imagine it in 2D, it's immediately way better. I wonder if the reason why the quality is so low in that regard is that nowadays we've switched to a more binging style of watching. So rather than a season being released one episode at a time over the course of a month or a year, it's released 3 episodes at a time, or 5 episodes at a time, or 6 episodes at a time, or just basically it's a bunch of episodes together. And it makes me wonder if it's worth it, because I would be like, let's say a show needs to run over the course of a year to finish. I'll let it run for over the course of a year to finish and just ignore it and watch it all in one later on, if I know that means that it'll be quality, you know? What's up, Bob? Vea sent you a really moving letter. Let's see it. I've already seen this one, Bob. Why are you all showing me the same letters? Vea needs to send more letters. Yes, of course. But, I like Bob. But, yeah, I wonder if, like, the binging style of releasing things is the way that, is what's causing this problem. And I wonder if there's a way that can be avoided. I guess I can drop off my boot. Let's head inside. Head into the house for a minute. I need to look something up. Have a civil conversation with Hammer about Bob. You should have, oh, with Hammer about Bob. Yeah, you should get him in here so we can talk about it. It'll be difficult, but I love Bob, so yeah. I'll just try to express to him my love of Bob. Anyway, let's take a look at this. Did I sell that chair on accident? No, I just put it on sale for Vea. Alright. Let's just put you here for now. I'll be right back. I'm gonna look up the fish in Animal Crossing GameCube. Animal Crossing GameCube. Fish. Here we go. Alright, we're looking for fish that can be caught all day and in January. Alright, catfish. I can catch them from 4 PM to 9 AM. I can only catch that in May, so that's a summer fish. Pale chub, which I've caught a bitterling. Bluegill I've caught, small bass I've caught. Have I caught a bass? Have I caught a bass and a large bass yet? Bass, large bass, and small bass. Let's take a look. I've caught a large bass and a small bass, but not a bass. Which means I gotta do some river fishing. So with the bass, I can catch him in the river all day in January. Yep. Okay. River pool. Yep, so we're gonna go catch a bass today. Let's go catch a bass, and then I'll check the, thingy after I'm done here. And the river's right there. So we'll just head over there. Dun 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 dun. Dun. Dun, 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 dun. I hate it when they run away from my lure. Anyway, we'll come back for you. No. Bob is anti-gambling. That's why Hammer dislikes him so much. Man, I remember there was a version of Halo for the PSP that someone made. It was super cool. Never got to play it, but I remember it existed. I wonder if it was any good. I don't mean the unrelated first-person shooter on the PSP, what people say is Halo for the PSP. I mean, literally, there was just a mod of like a modded version of Halo built for the PSP. It was super cool. Ocean Carp. Carp Old Tunnel. You know when's a good time to use CG? In your intros. Like in your anime OPs, if it's all really high quality CG, that's great, but I would never want the whole show to look that way. Like I never want JoJo to look like its openings. Or JoJo look like its earlier openings. I don't know if, I actually don't remember if Part 6's opening uses CG or not. Did Kira Buckland get to play Jolene like she wanted to? I hope so. She really wanted to play Jolene. I mean, that's really cool, but like, I'm not going to watch the English dub of JoJo, so... Nothing against the English dubs in general, I just... When it comes to JoJo, I prefer it subbed. That's all. Just a preference thing in that case. Most anime I'll prefer to watch dubbed. Like, that's one of the reasons why I'm waiting on Bell. I'm gonna let it get a dub and then rewatch it, because I like to kind of chatter with my girlfriend while I watch things with her. And so, not having a dub goes a long way to, like, making that harder to do. Subs are harder to watch for us because we really have to focus on reading. And we also miss out on, like, key details. What are you? You're new! A freshwater goby? Wow, his model looks great. Of course swap it with a new fish. Alright, let's go take that down in the museum. But yeah, with JoJo I prefer the Japanese. It's just the thing. The main thing is that I can tell which names are which, because they change the names with translation, both in the subtitles and in the dub. And I prefer the version in which I can hear the characters say the actual names of characters and stands. Makes it a lot less confusing to watch as someone who already knows most of these characters from the fighting game and the manga. One of the coolest parts of JoJo's identity has kind of been butchered by its English translation, and that's a dang shame. For those who don't know, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is a really good shonen anime, in which a lot of things in it are based off of and named after musical artists. And because of that, and because of the current publisher's fear of copyright, they have to change certain names, which is understandable. However, it has ruined certain things. Oh, we already have a freshwater goby? Dang. They had donated it. Oh, nice. Wretched creatures. Aura. Yep. One time with Aura. Like, Crazy Diamond was renamed to Shining Diamond. Gold Experience was named, like, Golden Wind or something. It's like, oh my goodness, just... There's no just here. There's nothing to be done about it. They just... Our options are legal trouble or no legal trouble, and they've opted for no legal trouble, which I can't even blame them. I just... It's a bummer to me that to somebody out there, Crazy Diamond is Shining Diamond, and that Santana is San Viento, and I'm just like, that's... It's slightly upsetting, to say the least. Shouldn't be, but it is. Like, I remember when I watched Part 5, I, like, sat there with my phone in my lap, and every single time a name was mentioned, I had to look it up to make sure it was true. Like, Angelo just found out recently the Little Bomber was supposed to be Aerosmith, and he's like, that makes way more sense than Little Bomber, and that's way cooler, and I'm like, right? They butchered it. They, like, butchered the translation of JoJo. I did... Good morning, Owl. How are you? What's interesting, though, is I'm also not one of those people that's like, you need to translate it directly all the time, because I think a good dub will take on its own personality and tone, and will sometimes sacrifice accuracy for it. So, for example, Evangelion. Evangelion, a lot of Evangelion's dub is very, very different to the... I'm good to hear that. I'm glad to hear that, Owl. I'm just talking about the nature of subs versus dubs in anime. Yeah, don't forget Devour. Oh my goodness, I've hit the B button 3 times already, because I'm too busy talking about Evangelion. But, yeah, Neva, they... Yes, I would like to sell. My goodness, I'm sorry, everybody. Oh. Alright, back to trying to catch this bass. But yeah, with Evangelion, the dub is very, very different from the sub, and a lot of things are quote-unquote wrong or very different. And because of that, people will often recommend the sub over the dub because it's actually more accurate to what's actually going on in the story, or what's supposed to be going on. Yep, it's also different to translate everything literally. And so, with Evangelion, what it did was it made the characters talk more like real people and less like anime characters. And they also spoke as if they were Americans in certain ways. So, for example, there is a scene in which Shinji does a dark deed, and he then looks at his hands and says, in the English dub, he says, "I'm so effed up," which is exactly what the viewer is thinking at that very moment. And it is this fantastic scene of just, yeah, you are. Whereas in the sub and in the new dub that they've given the anime to make it more accurate to the original, Shinji says, "I'm the lowest of the low," which is not... it's not as satisfying as "I'm so effed up," you know? Kimochi warui. I feel sick, is something another character says. Whereas in the English version, I think it's just her going, disgusting. I like the dub in a lot of ways. It does a really good job of, like... Evangelion is a very, like, no-holds-barred, brutalistic show that is very, very honest about itself. It doesn't tend to fall into flowery prose a lot. Characters behave as if they would in real life versus how they would in, like, a show or a cartoon. And so, having a dub that has that same brutal feeling is something I really appreciate. You learn Japanese from anime? I know people that are learning Japanese for anime because they're sick of dubs butchering things, and I can understand that. Or they're sick of both dubs and subs being butchered by certain companies like Crunchyroll. Like, I know Angelo's in that boat where he's just learning Japanese, both to, you know, so he can speak it in Japan because of appreciation for the culture, and just because he doesn't want to have to wait on games. He wants to be able to play the games he wants to play early and import them because all of his systems are on region lock. He might as well, you know, buy them. Yeah, really, I think the dub shines through the greatest in the End of Evangelion movie. But yeah, I'm trying to think of another dub I really like. Oh, right now I'm really enjoying the dub of Tenchi Muyo. I can't really compare it to the sub because I've never watched it, but the dub of Tenchi Muyo is hilarious. Same thing goes for Ghost Stories, Golden Boy, Cowboy Bebop. Like, don't watch Cowboy Bebop subbed; it's worse. Both Cowboy Bebop and Trigun are shows that the creator of the actual show have said watch it dubbed because those characters are supposed to speak English. Like the creator of Trigun only had Vash speak Japanese in the Japanese version because he didn't know English. And so when the English version came out, he liked it way better because Vash and the people on Planet Gunsmoke were always supposed to speak English. Little things like that, you know? Then there's the whole thing of like, oh, it's its original language, it's the truer version, and it's just like, sometimes the truer version is, it's preferred, but I personally I like the version that I like. I can't really say I prefer a truer version or not. Like, I know there's a translation of Final Fantasy VII that makes it more accurate to the original and fixes certain spelling mistakes and, like, grammatical errors. I know I'm not gonna like it as much as, Large Bass. We just need a regular bass. I know I'm not gonna like it nearly as much as original Final Fantasy VII's English dub. I know I'm not gonna like it as much. No, you see, it's supposed to be Aerith, not Aerith, because when I was a kid, it was Aeris, and so her name is Aeris, or you can just, you know what's great about Final Fantasy VII and names is that you can change them. So you can name any character you want in that game in your party. So if you don't like Aerith, if you don't like Aeris and you want Aerith instead, you can change it, like I did. When I played Final Fantasy VII, for me, she was Aerith, because I had played Crisis Core first, and I already knew her as Aerith, so I changed it, and it wasn't a big deal. People get really attached to little translation changes like that, and I agree. Honestly, I get attached to them too, but everyone's got their own, and I think a lot of times a game's translation should be judged on its own merits. So if you play a game and it has a translation you don't like, and you don't like what they say, that's fine. It's not a big deal. You don't have to like it. It's just you could import the Japanese version, or you can, I don't know. I'm not trying to say it's not a problem, because it is. It is unfortunate when you've been aware of a game coming out of Japan for a long time and that you really want to play it, and then you get the English version and it's been gutted. Like, that's unfortunate for the sake of quote-unquote cultural differences. And it's just like, man, I don't know. There are certain changes I agree with, certain changes I disagree with, and I think I'll just buy whatever game I want based off of what I agree and disagree with. Because, like, for example, Fire Emblem, there was a... When will I start Yakuza Kiwami? When I get it. When I get it, and when I get to it on the stream list. But I'll have a great time when I play it. Really excited for Yakuza Kiwami. I had a great time with Yakuza 0. I've been having a great time with Pathfinder as well. That game's really fun. Come on, fishy. There you go. Gotcha. But, what was I going to say? Shoot. There was a Fire Emblem game that came out, like, in 2014, right? Or 2015, that had some major translation changes and issues. Some of them I really liked, some of them I didn't like at all. For example, part of Fire Emblem Awakening, and every Fire Emblem game since Awakening, is building up friendships and then relationships with your party members, right? However, it's usually, in Awakening, it was kind of grounded in, like, military professionalism. It was like, hey, we're gonna make some food for the troops, or I'll hang out with the mage and have her do her experiments, you know? And so basically it was built off the idea that you're still people in an army, however, you're doing things that would be done in your downtime in war, right? And so, in Fates, I think it's called, they added this mini game to increase your relationship with your troops that involved you petting them like they were dogs or cats on the bottom screen, and them reacting to you doing that. And they removed that for the English version, and people were mad, but I'm also just like, man, I don't want that in my war game. Yojo Senki? I'm not familiar. No, what's it about? But I don't want head petting in my war game. I just don't want that, you know? For me, Fire Emblem is like, I want Fire Emblem to be a story of war. It is about war. It is about medieval warfare, and I don't want creepy anime crap in my war game. Maybe that's attached to Fire Emblem's identity, and you know what? It's just part of the identity I don't like then. Like, you know what game does a really good job of balancing, like, creepy anime crap and, oh, World War I game, I mean anime. But, like, you know what game does a pretty good job of balancing creepy anime crap with with like the horrors of war and warfare, Final Fantasy XIV, because the places where creepy anime crap happens is where it would happen. You know, some races are just weird and like goofy, like Mughals, but people still react to them like they normally would. They're not like treated special in any way. Cat girls exist, but they're not like you nya nya. They're actually a race of people with their own culture, and like each one is a unique character. It's a tonal issue. It's always been a tonal issue. There's that constant reoccurring gag in anime that drives me nuts every time I see it, and it's man. It's what is it? It's when a guy walks in on a girl, and she's naked, and she overreacts, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm sorry," and then she hits him or like throws something at him, and I'm just like, has that ever been funny to anyone? I don't know anyone that finds it funny. Everyone I talk to is just like, it's there. They never laugh. Versus like the way Evangelion handled it, or the way that like Tenchi Muyo handles it, where they actually handle it in a more realistic manner. So like in Evangelion, somebody walks in and creeps on Shinji falls on Rei and gropes her on accident, and Rei says, "Will you please get off me?" And Shinji's like, "Sorry," and that's the scene. And then in Tenchi Muyo, there's Tenchi's dad is always creeping on the girls, right? So you know what they do? One of the characters has dimensional powers, and she has the ability to like open up parallel universes and stuff. And so she puts the girl's bathroom, she makes an alternate version of the bathroom that cannot be entered from normal space. And so he sees the girls go in, he goes to open the door, and they're no longer there because they've entered an X-time space outside of that space. But they let Tenchi in because they know Tenchi's not a creep. What a great show. I love Tenchi Muyo. I need to finish it. Super good so far. Really, it's a really witty, down-to-earth kind of show for something that I thought was just going to be a creepy harem anime in the beginning. And that's the scene. Yeah, you know when's a great time to have like sexual hijinks in anime? When characters are actually having sex. Like, I don't know, if you want to if you want to show a scene of one of your girls in a sexually vulnerable position, maybe have a scene of her having sex with one of the characters. Like maybe a character she really likes. I don't know, build up a romance over like 20 or so episodes, and on episode 24, they do it, you know? Just don't be cowards. Don't show a nosebleed, show an erection. It's not a big deal. We're adults. I guess that's why I really like older anime, because it's not cowardly. Like, if you want to see a great comparison of this, a great idea of what I'm talking about, watch Evangelion. Specifically, watch the Evangelion original series and watch the new movies that have come out since, and you can see this in like stark contrast, where old Evangelion, why is this character naked? It's because they're in a bathroom, because they're taking a bath, and the scene is of them sitting in the tub thinking about what had happened the night before. And because the water doesn't cover them completely, of course you can see her breasts. It's not portrayed in any sort of overly sexualized manner, it's just she'd be naked in that scene. It wouldn't make sense for her to be wearing clothes. Same thing and then the opposite is Asuka wearing skimpy clothing for all of the fourth new Evangelion movie for no reason at all. She's just dressed in a skimpy outfit, there's constant gratuitous upskirt shots, and it's just like, why? Why? It doesn't make any sense. And also, I've seen this character naked, so this isn't really doing anything for me. It's just like, it's unnecessary, really. Who knows, man? I just know that, I guess as an adult, I have a much greater appreciation for certain kinds of clothing and fashion a lot of times, too. So, like, for example, Mikasa, a lot of the girls in Attack on Titan are very attractive, but they're never used as, like, eye candy. Oh god, yeah, that's a constant thing in the Evangelion Rebuild movies. I was never more aroused by Mikasa than she was wearing her full military uniform and a trench coat. When she, like, the moment where I was most attracted to Mikasa when she was all, like, when she was wearing, like, a World War II soldier uniform, because I thought that was cool. Yeah, I don't want to rewatch those movies anytime soon. They're creepy. It feels creepy, you know? Like, I don't need the camera going up someone's butt. That's not necessary. I want the camera to be a neutral observer. That's what I'd like from certain scenes like that, you know? Like, there is one scene like that in the old Evangelion anime, but it's not done on any of the girls. It's used for Shinji. And it's when Shinji realizes there's a penguin in the shower with him, and he freaks out, and he goes to open the door, and Misato's beer can is blocking his groin, so you can't see his penis. And so then Misato picks up the beer can and goes to take a sip, and there's a little container of toothpicks right behind it, still blocking the shot. World War I is literally the Ottomans against the Germans. I really like Attack on Titan. I really hope it ends well. I'm nervous. Attack on Titan has made me realize made me remember why I typically don't start watching shows while they're ongoing, and that's because I'm not doing another Game of Thrones. I'm not gonna be broken again. Unfortunate, but I just don't want to sit through 90 episodes. I don't want to sit through a 90-hour movie just to find out the ending is crap. Yeah. Yeah, that USB cable thing. Oh man, those movies are painful to watch. I actually really like the ending. I really like the final ending of the last movie, specifically. Me and Angelo really like that scene. Season 1 of Game of Thrones or Season 1 of Attack on Titan? Because I really like Season 1 of Attack on Titan, and I really like Season 1 of Game of Thrones. For Attack on Titan, I agree, yeah. Last season got me worried because the pacing took a nosedive. Like, it reminded me when I was reading the manga where I was just horribly confused. And I think that's because that was adapted straight from the manga, almost one-to-one. Which I can understand, and I was talking to Angela about that. It's like, I'm kind of glad we had to wait for the second half of Season 2 if it means that they're not going to botch the if they're not going to botch the pacing again. Yeah, I really like all the seasons of Attack on Titan. Even, like, last season was my least favorite, but I still like it a lot. The pacing is terrible. I want someone to go back through and edit that, so instead of constantly flashing forward and back with characters that look almost exactly the same as they did before, I would very much appreciate a version of it that shows the events that happened before the arrival in Marley and the events that happened after the arrival in Marley, versus the one we got currently, in which both of those are being shown simultaneously and confusing the heck out of me. Man, I wonder the way I'm feeling with Attack on Titan is probably the way people that watched Death Note felt when they thought Light was the good guy. Because, like, for me, I was always cheering for L. Whenever I watched Death Note, I was cheering for L. However, I know people that were like, nah, man, Light Yagami, cheering that guy on. He's my boy. He's gonna save the world with his Death Note. I'm just like, man, I don't know if that's what the show's about. I don't know if you were watching it right. And I'm thinking you're going to be pretty let down by that ending. Whereas Attack on Titan, Eren's situation is a bit different because he's a consistently failed hero. Like, he's tried consistently to be a hero and has failed every step of the way. It's really quite unfortunate. I actually really want to rewatch it from the beginning and keep Eren's eventual transformation into mind. It's like watching all of Clone Wars and the prequels while knowing Anakin's going to become Darth Vader eventually. Makes it an interesting view. It makes it an interesting watch, I guess. Man, could you imagine if you watched those while not knowing? That'd be a heck of a twist. But then again, you can't start someone with the prequels because then they're gonna think Star Wars is crap. It's a problem, you know? You could just start with Clone Wars, I guess. But you're going to be missing out on a lot of plot details that really matter. I wish everyone could be like... Travis's ability to just sit down and watch an entire show beginning to end in chronological order. Like, I admire that a lot about him. Just like, if it's bad, I'll have fun making fun of it. But with Star Wars, it's like if you watch that entire series in chronological order, you start with bad and you end with bad. Unless you just don't watch the sequels. Then you start with bad and end with amazing. Yeah, the Star Wars prequels are a special case, though. They're not, how do I put it? They are really, really good stories told very, very poorly. Like, the backstories being told are actually really, really interesting. It's just the acting is bad, the special effects are bad, the camera work is bad, the music is good. It's just everything on screen that you're seeing visually is upsetting to the eyes. It's like watching an old anime with like, you know what I'd compare it to? I'd compare it to Berserk 2016. Really good story because it's just taking the story from the manga. However, it's being told in the worst way possible. It's just, the story's there, and it's good. It's just, ugh. Imagine if Yakuza 0 played like Yakuza 1. That's what I'm talking about. New movies aren't canon. I hope so. That'd be a good future, honestly. I wouldn't mind the sequels being made non-canon. But then again, I showed my girlfriend old Clone Wars, even though that's not canon. I'm just because it's just good cartoons. It's good animation. It's done by the first Clone Wars series was like, it's a series of shorts done by the creator of Samurai Jack, and it's really good. I thought you wrote that your mom's canon. I thought you wrote your M&Ms aren't canon, and I'm like, no, not my M&Ms. Not my M&Ms. I need to watch Black Dynamite, both the movie and the series. I haven't got around to doing that yet. Hey there, Joan. Hunter x Hunter has that problem. Like, not that the beginning of Hunter x Hunter is bad, it's just the beginning of Hunter x Hunter is very generic, and most people have trouble getting through it because, how do I put it? Just the beginning of Hunter x Hunter sets up expectations that later on get subverted in a really good way, and because it sets up those expectations so well, it actually makes you think what you're watching is a generic nothing anime. And then later on, when it gets super good, well, a lot of people just aren't there for that because they watched the first 20 episodes. And it's a story about a young boy going on an adventure looking for his dad, and it's something it's something they've seen a bunch of times before. And it doesn't get interesting until the very end of that arc. That's kind of Final Fantasy XIV's problem, too. Because it starts as, like, generic Chosen One story and then becomes really interesting, like, political fantasy. But to actually get to that point, you gotta play hundreds of hours of game. And that's really unfortunate. I mean, at least it's not like New World or Destiny where it starts good and then gets terrible. Because that's bad in the entire that's bad in the entire opposite direction. It's a balance to be struck. It's a balance to be struck. I couldn't even begin to explain how to strike it. I guess a good way to keep people going in the beginning is to give them a lot of eye candy. Like, give them a lot of really pretty animation, give them a lot of really good music, you know? Like, I guess that's one of the things that keeps Hiroaka going, is that, yes, it's a story you've heard a million times before, or seen a million times before, however, it's told so effectively and so beautifully that it feels like something new. That's something else I've noticed, is that an old story told well feels new. Like, Star Wars is just a pastiche. Star Wars is a... Yeah, me too. I wish that a lot of MMOs didn't have deliberately awful business models either. Like, apparently 14 has a microtransaction store. I have never run into it, ever. the $15 a month thing is annoying, and I can't deny that. I'd rather not pay $15 a month for that game. But I really enjoy 14. It's a great game. I'm having a great time with it. I wish there was something in the game besides dungeons and raiding for people that aren't into that, but I'm really into that, so... Oh, it is? Okay, then... Alright, fair enough, so it's far away from the game, which is honestly how I'd want it to be, if it has to exist at all. I'd rather it not exist at all. Oh, it's on Mog Station, okay. I didn't know that, because I've never interacted with it. I've never felt the need. It's all cosmetics, I believe, too. Wait, no, there's the skip. You can buy level skips. But you're missing out on the story. They really just need to go back and add voice acting to all the Realm Reborn content. It needs it bad. Why am I not catching this bass? It's taking a while. It's a rare fish, I guess. The problem with this kind of grinding in games is that you never know when something is ultra rare or when you're doing it wrong. Bass, River, Shadow Size 3, available at all times of the day in January and February. Yeah, it's saying it should be here. Yeah. Yeah, Dune would be a great example of that. Like a lot of the best like fiction we've ever had is old stories being retold in new ways. Like Star Wars is pretty much that. It's just everything in Star Wars is old stories being retold in interesting ways. Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, the movie did a really good job of it. It actually made me really care about House Atreides, whereas in the original or in the David Lynch version of David Lynch Dune movie, I was mostly just confused during the opening parts. I'm just like, who's House Atreides and why should we care? And I'm like, and now I really care about House Atreides, which feels like it's the whole point of that movie, is making you care about House Atreides, so that when things happen the way they do, you feel something. So yeah, I also watched, I mentioned this earlier, but Legends of Vox Machina. That's a great show. It's only got 3 episodes so far, so if you just want to give it a try and see if you like it, you can. That show feels like it is like a D&D campaign gone off the rails, and I really like that about it. If you're into things like that, like if you're into like the fantasy episode of Rick and Morty, the fantasy episode of Smiling Friends, the way Harmon Quest tends to go. If you like Disenchanted on Netflix, you'd probably like Legends of Vox Machina. It's literally based off of a D&D campaign, so it's really interesting and really funny. And really, really violent. Which I appreciate. That's one of those things that never gets old. Seeing a head roll or explode or a limb getting taken off is just always really satisfying. Like, I feel like most things could be improved by being more violent. I don't know why. Maybe there's something wrong with me. But, like, I think some of my favorite moments in Star Wars is when it pushes its age rating. Like, there's a scene where Ahsoka's being taken prisoner by, like, a bunch of Mandalorians all around her, and she, like, leaps into the air and, like, decapitates all 3 of them simultaneously. And, it's one of my favorite moments in that whole show. Or, like, seeing people get, like, beaten to death or crushed or slashed or stabbed in Mandalorian after sitting through Rebels, which was so sanitized and, like, non-violent. That was great. Animal Crossing would not... something with, like, a wholesome nature would not be improved by violence. I don't think Animal Crossing would. I don't think Harvest Moon would. Or Rune Factory, even. I don't know. Alex likes violence where he thinks it should be, personally. I really like Yakuza's specific brand of violence, because it's almost never over the top and gory. It's more just, hey, not very few games put the amount of detail into welts, bruises, and swollen faces that Yakuza do, or the sound of bone hitting concrete. And I appreciate that about Yakuza and Sleeping Dogs, by that same token. I would like to make a D&D character that doesn't swear, because I think all of my characters in D&D have sworn at some point or another. It'd be an interesting challenge for myself because of how train how vulgar D&D campaigns usually get. We have a new party member in our Saturday campaign who is normal, but our entire party has been like the servants of a demon from hell. And so since I'm the only one in the party who's not in service of those demons, I'm trying to warn the new party member while still not blowing my cover. And I'm trying to keep them safe. However, I'm a vampire, and well, they don't trust me because I'm a vampire. So it makes things kind of awkward. Also, I got caught feeding off of a homeless person. So there's that too. I was hungry, okay? I was hungry, and I was too intimidating for it. I was trying to attract muggers to attack me. I went to the bad neighborhood and like tried to look as pathetic and innocent as possible so that people would mug me, but my character is just too tough, so no one tried to mug her. And so she ended up having to feed off of some random drunken homeless person. Which is not her proudest moment, I might add, but she was hungry. I'm not gonna catch this bass, am I? I wish bluegills and bitterlings were this pretty in real life. I'll check the fishing guide. Alright, freshwater goby, pond smelt, stringfish, goldfish, popeye goldfish, sea bass, red snapper. Oh! Oh! I think we're hunting for the wrong fish here. Because I just learned the coelacanth spawns in the winter, so let's sell these fish and make our way to the ocean, shall we? Show me what you've got. I got this, 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 and this. I wonder what fish I can grind to make a lot of money. Let's check that real quick. Like, if I wanted to catch one kind of fish over and over again. Alright, 10,000 for an... Do I have an arapaima? I don't have an arapaima or an arowana. Well, that's a summer fish. Yeah, alright. Well, yeah, we're gonna go after the coelacanth. Ooh, Krillist. Alright, let's head down to the ocean. So yeah, coelacanth is actually one of my favorite fish in real life. It's a prehistoric fish that has not evolved or changed since its prehistoric days, so it has a super bizarre appearance to it. Nice! Those are the ones that make it like the Knuckles controller, right? How do I catch that balloon? Nice! I look forward to hearing about it. Hearing about it, that was weird to say. I look forward to hearing about it. Man, Pathfinder Kingmaker was so much fun. I can't wait to play more of it. Today I'm going to be doing Star Fox 64. The 3DS version, probably. It's just the Nintendo 64 version is hideous. I don't know if I can get a slingshot in this game. That's what I was curious about it. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. No. dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Gotcha. Yep, so we're gonna go on a coelacanth hunt, which means we're just gonna be running back and forth along this river until we see a big ol' shadow, and if we see it, I hope it's the fish I want to catch. I've caught it super easily. Like, I think I caught it on my first day in New Leaf, but I've never caught it in this game. My big sister has, and she tried to sell it for like a million bells. However, I was never able to catch one myself, so this is gonna be a big first for me if I catch one. Not count my chickens before they're hatched, though. Slingshot's not in the game? Okay. Well, shoot. How do I get Balloon, then? That's my question, Al. Oh, bit of a thing I want to kind of announce here is that Saturday's stream, I'm actually not going to be on the controller. Today is going to be on the controls, and I'm going to be giving commentary. However, the reason being is she has no songs for her house, and she got really sad this morning and was upset that she couldn't get any songs. So I'm going to pass the controls off to her Saturday, and I will just be giving co-commentary while she streams. Heck. I don't know, man. Let me look that up on Wiki. Animal Crossing GameCube. We're just gonna add another name besides Animal Crossing GameCube. Balloon present. They can only, you have to follow them until they land in a tree. And they can only be obtained that way. Oh yeah, the museum's almost finished. We need like 2 fossils, or 2 more fossils in the museum. Yep. You follow it until it gets stuck in a tree. So yeah, one of the spells I have in, so I picked my 2 starting spells for my Bard in Pathfinder, Kingmaker, which I've been playing on the Twitch, twitch.tv/LodsofCat. Boom, plug in it. However, the 2 spells I picked were Thunderclap and Grease. Thunderclap is a spell that deafens your enemies, and Grease is a spell that greases them up and makes them slippery so that they trip and fall. And so I can literally create the greased up deaf guy from Family Guy. The delay is frustrating, I know. YouTube's got it bad. Mostly only has furniture in it. Yeah. Hey, Red Snapper, nice. That'll catch me a pretty penny. I caught me a pretty penny yesterday when I picked Penny up off the floor. I know, that was bad. I apologize for my transgressions. I apologize for my transgressions. Hey there, Joan. You're just gonna hang out by the ocean today? The Joshin? Jonshin? Oh, nice. Oh, H3 hot. Every time you say H3, I get excited. I'm like, Halo 3? And you're like, invest in turnip. I already have. I bought 50 of them. I thought you wrote invest in Trump for a second. Turn it to the moon. I got lung capacity. Got lung capacity. I said moon so long I disappeared? Oh no. Yeah. I need to start looking for more streamers, because, like, a lot of times... okay, so I tend to raid based off of whether or not I'm actually interested in the game that they're playing. And nothing against Tresden or any of the people that I follow, but they play Dead by Daylight a bit too often for my tastes. And I'm not going to raid a Dead by Daylight streamer. Oh, that was weird. I will know tonight. Tonight I am actually going to call into my temp agency to see if they have any news on my interview, which they'll tell me when they have news. And if not, I will go in and actually ask them myself. Yay! Thank you. Thank you, Chevre. What's up? Right. Aw. I will. I'll be happy to. But yeah, tonight I'll be heading into my temp agency to see about finding a new job. I did actually complete an interview and get a job. However, upon talking to the interviewer and realizing I wouldn't get paid the amount that I wanted, it's not worth it. $12 an hour, 20-hour work weeks, only paid every 2 weeks. I'd have to wait 2 whole pay periods, which is 4 weeks to get my first paycheck, meaning I wouldn't see any sort of I wouldn't see any money from this place for the first month, versus like a normal job where at most would take 2 weeks for me to get my first paycheck, which means I'd have to survive a month there, which is a fast food place. I'd be working at Taco Bell for almost no pay, which is making it not worth it. And no, I didn't go to... I did go to college, actually, but not long enough to mean anything. You need either good grades or money to go to college, which I have neither. Like, again, it's like I said, decisions I made when I was barely a person have kinda screwed me over. This is America. I'd love to go back to college, though. I had a good time. I got dual enrollment in my senior year of high school, which meant let me do 2 classes. I took an art class and I took a computer class. The computer class was so easy, I finished all of its coursework in a single afternoon. And the art class was an art class, but again, that's not the kind of skill you learn in a class. That's the kind of thing you had to have been doing since childhood to actually develop, which I was not, because I had parents that told me to stop drawing and do my homework. So, lovely. Yep. You're pretty much guaranteed to be in debt for the rest of your life. So, yep. That might be good for you. That might be good for you too. I had a dream I joined the army last night. Alright, let's go sell. I told myself at a young age I wanted a simple life, a simple, quiet life where I'd just live with someone I cared about and 2 cats and just play video games and have fun. And I'm technically there already, but it's going to take a long time before I'm there and stable. And that's my goal right now, is to be able to live this kind of life with no fear. Step 1 is getting out of this apartment, which means tonight, when I wake up, I'm gonna have to get a job. Yeah, you're getting fit while hitting every second of it, yep. You get to be in shape, yeah. I thought about, honestly, that's one of those things I might do one day. Who knows? Who knows what'll happen? I know what I want to happen, but not there yet. Maybe I'll get lucky with Bitcoin and I won't have to get a job. Or I won't. Or alongside my job, I'll make enough money that I can save up and live an easier life. The goal is to getting into a place that I barely have to spend any money on, while saving up a ton of money to spend on things I want in my future, like a new house when we eventually gotta move out. Because I don't want to die in an apartment. It's interesting because I feel like I'd be drawing a blank past what my dream house would be, but I've actually lived in my dream house, so my dream house would be a small countryside home next to a lake. Pretty simple. That's a good end goal. Thought about moving to Alaska one day. That might be a good place to move to. Check what their internet speeds are. My eventual goal is to get a mortgage and actually have a house that I own, or can own eventually. But to get that, I need a career, which I need to actually get in some place that I really like and establish a career there. Honestly, I'm thinking about going back to work at the place I was at because it was a job that I liked, I was good at it, and it paid well. I know my current first and primary goal is to pay off this rent. Or is to get a job, second is to get a car, third is to pay off all this backed up rent I owe. And honestly, I may not even need the car. If I can get a job in the spring, I could just ride a bicycle. Like, I'll ride a bicycle. I could use the exercise. Spring needs to get here faster, you know? And if need be, I can trudge through the snow. But yeah. Hey, if I don't catch the coelacanth, at least I'm going to be accumulating a decent amount of money. From just fishing. I think I might wrap it up after this fish transport. What time is it? How close am I to my deadline is the real question, because at 10 o'clock I gotta start streaming Star Fox. Let's see. What? Oh, right. Hold on, let me check the actual time, not the in-game Animal Crossing time. Yep, I gotta wrap this up. Let's go sell this fish. Let's go take our few fossils. Let's go take our fossils to the museum. And then after that, we can wrap it up for the night. Nice. I don't need amazing internet, I just need what I got now, or slightly better. I already know most American internet's going to be bad no matter where I go because of the monopoly that Charter and Comcast have. Oh man, if they ever merge, we're screwed. We're just screwed. Because at least Spectrum currently offers a better deal than Xfinity, but if those two ever become the same company, oh my goodness. The state of internet in America is going to get awful. Na, 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 na. Alright, let's head home. Or let's head to the post office. I got stuff to donate. I got money to donate, or money to invest, and fish to sell. Oh, I almost forgot. We didn't do the fountain thing tomorrow. It's not a big deal. Oh, also, yeah, I don't know if I showed you guys this. You probably saw it already, but we got a new bridge. So now we can cross. Unlike in New Leaf, where you have to spend your own money on it, in this, it's Tortimer will just ask, hey, do we need a new bridge? And you can go, yeah, and he'll put a new bridge in. I think it's a perfect spot for it, too. Yep, perfect spot. Yeah, getting around town's gonna get a lot easier. Animal Crossing fans, we get excited over, like, the smallest of things. Like, oh my gosh, you can go in the water now, or there's a bridge. You can put bridges wherever you want now. You can change the land. Like, that's crazy. Like, I remember, I think if you, like, showed New Leaf or New Horizons to someone who, like, only played Animal Crossing for the GameCube or the N64, they would just melt. Like, it's crazy how much you can do in those games. I should watch, like, a Let's Play of Happy Home Designer to see if it's something I'm into. Dun 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 dun. I can't wait. Like, Animal Crossing New Horizons, when it gets finally finished, is probably going to be the best Animal Crossing game. Matanuska? I'll have to take a look. Ooh, I owe quite a bit. Yeah. Enjoy your 1,500 bells, Belly. Still owe 200,000 bells. Yay! Let's go. Let's get out of here. This is gonna get a lot easier starting with Wild World because you can start putting money away and having it gain interest. So you can put money into your savings account and it will gain interest over time. So if you leave it there throughout the entire game and constantly add money to it, you can begin building up a lot of cash. Groovy beat. Na 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 na. Welcome to the Gyroid prison. Banned. Groovy. Alright, sorry about that. Alright, and with that, we will end today's stream. If you enjoyed this stream, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, and leave a comment down below. Leave me a letter. Tell me about your dream home that you'd eventually want in real life and what you'd want it to look like. Give me all the details, and I will read those letters on stream Saturday night. I hope you enjoyed the little groove. Thank you for watching. Be sure to check out our social media down below with our Twitter and join our Discord. Furthermore, you can find us on Twitch where we will stream games every weekend. Right now we are streaming Star Fox 64 and Pathfinder Kingmaker. Be sure to go there and follow. Thank you for watching, and well, have a good night.